No tax on tips is the latest news and promise coming into the new administration. We know that when we're talking about taxes, it always is exciting to figure out how we can pay less or no taxes. And so if there is a law that will come into play that would basically exempt tips from income taxes, well, that sounds huge. Well, a couple of things to note. There are several types of taxes, and we yet do not know what this would be exempt from. What do I mean by that? Well, we know tips are subject to federal income tax. They are also subject to Social Security and Medicare taxes, not only for the employer, but for the employee. So these two right here, the Social Security and Medicare, will it be exempt for the employee? Will it be exempt for the employer? So we got 5 different kinds of taxes that we need to define, not to mention as it relates to the state income taxes, if that applies. Now, are those tips going to be exempt for anything that's basically designated by a tip? We know that there's already talk of then various professions indicating that they will change how they invoice their clients and allow for there to be tips. Well, here's the bottom line on this. I think that where this will land, just being a CPA doing this for 33 years, is that the tips at best will be income tax free. Don't know that they'll be able to exempt it from Social Security and Medicare taxes, and even if they do that for the employee, which would be great, I don't see that they would be doing that for the employer. And the reason for that is that there's already a tip tax credit for employers that report tips. Also, I can't imagine that states will also go along with this and exempt tips from income taxes at the state level. Also, I want you to note that we know that those that are collecting tips, they also have some kind of hourly wage depending on their classification. And so most likely the wage portion that the individuals would be being paid most likely wouldn't be exempt from any of this. So don't get me wrong, it's always great to have an opportunity to pay less taxes. That means more money in your pocket. But I think in terms of your plans related to this, well, don't hold your breath in the sense that it may be that it's passed sometime this year and put into law this year, but most likely when tax laws like this are put into play, it will be effective on a future date. So if I was guessing, I would put it as an effective date as early as 1/1/26. Now, we may be surprised, and tips are exempt from all of these taxes, and the states go along, and it's somehow retroactive. So with that, even though we have promises from the White House related to this from the campaign, and we know that both candidates were on board with this, and we know a number of other congressmen, congresswomen, senators are also in favor of this, but it will come down to the sausage making that happens in DC. And when there is anything that's done for there to be tax savings, well, then there always has to be an offset, that there will be some increase elsewhere. So all that to be said, stay tuned to see what the update is. We still don't have a lot of the details, but at the end of the day, if we can help those folks that are getting paid tips to pay less tax, put more in their pocket, I know that that'll be a great thing. All right, hey, thanks for tuning in. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. And then don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me. You have a great one.